Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webcast, Innovative Solutions for Values-Based Talent Development. Delighted to be here with you today in an expert panel. There are a lot of different terms that go around for values-based talent development programs like Pro Bono and things like that. But today we're going to be using a term, immersive service learning. So that's what we'll be referring to today. We're going to focus on a few different things in today's webcast. First of all, programs that inspire and motivate employees to use their skills to make a difference beyond their job function. We're going to look at how to maximize leadership development opportunities outside of the office and classroom by immersing employees in complex team projects. And also a human-centered design approach to improve employees' creative problem-solving, communication, and collaboration skills. But before we dive into everything, just a few housekeeping things to go over with you. A few of these came up on the screen before we signed in. But the most important thing is to ask questions as they occur to you. You'll see at the bottom left of your screen there is a chat pod. Please feel free to post your questions in there, and we will look at those as they come up and address those as they come in. You can download the presentation via the file download pod. You can make the screen full screen on the video or PowerPoint if you prefer. At the end of the webcast, we'll have a brief evaluation. If you wouldn't mind taking a minute or so to fill that out to give us your feedback, that would be great. And then stay tuned for conference discounts and promo codes at the end of the program, and stay on until the end to earn these CPE credits. So with that out of the way, I am going to introduce who is with you today. First of all, my name is Alex Parkinson. I'm a senior researcher and director of the Society for New Communications Research of the Conference Board. My research focus areas include corporate citizenship and philanthropy, as well as communications and marketing. I'm joined by Julie Kluget, Nicole Johnson, and Kerry Tyman. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves because I think they do a much better job of doing it than I do. So first of all, Julie Kluget, the co-founder and executive director of Team for Tech. Julie, do you want to give us a hello and an intro to your organization?
Sure, yeah. Thank you so much, Alex. Great to be here today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. My name is Julie Kluget, and I am the co-founder and executive director of the Team for Tech Foundation. We are a nonprofit based in Silicon Valley, and our mission is to advance the quality of education for underserved learners around the world. And I'm going to be talking more about how we do that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for joining us. We also have Nicole Johnson, who's the founding executive director of the Pure Good Foundation. Nicole, do you want to say hi?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Johnson. I am the executive director of the Pure Good Foundation. We are the philanthropic foundation attached to the company Pure Storage, a tech company of now 2,600 people located in the Bay Area with global employees. And our mission is really around empowering our employees and our nonprofit partners to change the world.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for joining us. And finally, Kerry Tyman, Senior Manager of Sustainability and Social Impact at Adobe. Kim, hello.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kim. Thank you so much for having me. I'm joining you from Adobe's Emeryville office in the Bay Area, and I oversee employee engagement for the Sustainability and Social Impact Group at Adobe, which means it's my job to get every one of our 20,000 employees involved in the community where they live in some form or another. So I'm really pleased to be here to talk to you about one of our key programs and our fantastic partnership with Team for Tech.
Okay, great. So that is our panel. I'm sure you'll all agree we're going to have some great information this afternoon. And in fact, it might still be morning in California where most of them are. Nonetheless, we will proceed. Okay, so the catalyst for today's webcast is a report that Julie and her team authored at Team for Tech, Reviving Professional Development, a New Approach for Millennials. And this is available through the Conference Board website. At that link that you see in front of you there, it is free to the public, so you can download it by just creating an account with the Conference Board, which is free to do, and getting the PDF there. We will share this presentation with you, so no need to jot that down right away. If you want, you'll get a copy of this later, and you can click on that and retrieve the report. But with that, I am going to ask Julie to dive into the content for this afternoon. She's going to give us an overview of leadership development trends and the role of immersive service learning in addressing those trends. So Julie, over to you, and you have control of your slides.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex. So, hello everyone. As I mentioned, Team Protect is a nonprofit based in Silicon Valley, and our mission is to advance the quality of educational opportunities for underserved learners around the world through technology capacity building and relevant technology solutions. The way we do that is by engaging corporate pro bono volunteers on consulting projects with education nonprofits around the world to amplify their impact on teaching and learning, and at the same time build crucial leadership skills for participating employee volunteers. So I'm just going to tee up the discussion today by talking about some of the key trends we've seen in our research that shaped how we formulated our program. And then I'm really excited for Nicole and Kim to share their experiences as partners in our work. So the first trend I want to talk about, we do a lot of research on what are the human capital or leadership development challenges that companies are facing, and how can we address those through our leadership development program. So the main trend we see, and we see it across all of the reports, these stats are from PricewaterhouseCoopers, but we see it from Deloitte, from a recent study done by LinkedIn, is that it's the so-called soft skills that are most in demand. Creativity and innovation, leadership, problem solving, adaptability, and often communications and collaboration show up as the skills that CEOs today really feel are the most in demand and the hardest to come by. These are skills that cannot be replicated by machines and that are even more critical than changing technical skills or changing customer demands, according to the research. And the other key takeaway is that most CEOs feel that their companies are not doing a good job at this, are not prepared. So you see that only 7% of companies believe that their leadership development programs are best in class, and 30% feel like they're losing out on business opportunities due to a lack of leadership capacity. And, I really liked this table that talked about the old rules of human capital development and management and the new rules. Whereas in the past, companies would have been more hierarchical about human capital management, companies know that they're moving to a more agile, customer-driven, project-based environment, and the human capital development practices need to keep pace with that. By developing employees who are nimble, can navigate change and uncertainty to meet evolving corporate goals. The second trend we're seeing, and this is more on the talent supply side of the equation, is that an increasing desire for purpose and development on the part of employees in their job. So particularly with millennials, but from employees across the spectrum, they value professional development and then their company's societal impact. I thought it was really interesting that the company's corporate social responsibility work was number 3 factor on what most millennials look for when choosing where to work. The number 1 was, what is the company, what does it do? And number 2 was, what would be their role? But number 3 was, what is their, the company's cause work? Also, employees who can make a social impact through their job are twice as satisfied as those who feel that they cannot, that they have to do that on the side. So I think the data is clear that employees really are looking for a genuine sense of societal purpose in their work and real opportunities for professional development and growth. And then trend number 3, it's really more of a research finding, but there's increasing consensus that adults retain only about 10% of what they learn in a traditional classroom setting, and over 60% of what they learn when it's experiential or when they learn by doing. And the reason why, sort of drawing on this research from the Center for Creative Leadership, is that employees need to experience an authentic challenge or have a real sense of failure or dealing with ambiguity if they're going to be able to then bring those learnings back into their day job. So really, that's what we have sought to create with Team for Tech, is an authentic, project-based or experiential learning environment where employees can build their leadership skills by engaging in these consulting projects with education nonprofit organizations. And then we see, and I'm going to talk about our, results later, but by going through this experience, employees do feel more inspired and engaged and proud of the work that their company is doing. And I know Nicole and Kim are going to share some testimonials around that. And finally, we seek to help companies matchmake with these projects so that they can bring to life their corporate values and try to find a way to have a real measurable societal impact. And so just kind of a snapshot of what we've done. We're just over 5 years old, and we have now done over 50 of these pro bono consulting projects with over 450 volunteers now from 35 companies. We've partnered with 18 nonprofit organizations across 14 countries. When we do partner with these nonprofits, we do it for 3 to 5 years, and we send an annual team of pro bono consultants as well as make $15,000 grants to help them reach their teaching and learning goals by the incorporation of relevant technology. And these are just some of the companies that we are partnering with. So based on our research, we said, what are the 5 key skills that companies are looking to develop through their leadership development programs? And we zeroed in on these 5. You could sort of put them in 3 buckets. So, the first is around adaptability. How do you help employees become those nimble, adaptive agents that are going to help companies respond to a changing corporate environment? So, customer-centric innovation and growth mindset are in the category of adaptability. And then the second key category would be around collaboration. So how do you develop an inclusive mindset working across cultures and really put employees in a project-based environment where they're going to be, experiencing intensive collaboration. And then the third category is really applying judgment or decision-making. So we know that on our projects, as well as in today's corporate environment, there's a VUCA trend, so volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Those are the conditions that our employees are facing back on the job, and those are replicated in our projects. So how do we set up a framework so that even in the face of that ambiguity, employees are rapidly prototyping, iterating, and able to make decisions and move towards a solution? So I just want to say a word about how we run our program. We've developed an 8-week training curriculum, all founded in human-centered design. And so on the sidelines of their day job, about 2 to 4 hours per week, for those 8 weeks, we conduct virtual training sessions with participating employees, where we take them through the human-centered design cycle. First, they get to know the nonprofit organization very well, understanding their challenges and opportunities. We make sure everyone has a clearly defined problem statement around the project. And then the employees start brainstorming about, what is the best way to build capacity with the staff and teachers of this nonprofit. And they start prototyping these capacity building materials in the form of workshops and other deliverables. We get feedback from the nonprofits, and then they rapidly iterate on those materials. And that's all done 8 weeks prior to the project, as I said, on the sidelines of the employee's day job, about 2 to 4 hours per week. And then we travel with the team. We go on site, typically for 10 days on site. And that's where we do an in-country orientation. We conduct additional observation for the first couple of days. And then employees deliver their capacity building workshops to the staff and the teachers of that nonprofit. Each day when we're there, we make sure to have a carved out time for reflection. So employees can reflect on what they've experienced, what they've observed, what they're learning, both in terms of how they can improve that for the next day on the project and how they can take these skills back to their day job. So in terms of the results, we do survey employees right after the project and then 4 months later. And what we're seeing is 94% of participating employees do report that they've experienced a growth in leadership development. And then, just looking at our latest data from 2017, 86% of participating employees believe that Team Protect's leadership development is more effective than other professional development programs. So we're pleased, and we're continuing to collect formative evaluations so that we can constantly, update our training curriculum. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Alex, but I'll just say that, here's my contact information, and we're more than happy to answer any questions about our model, during the Q&A period or after this webinar. So back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Julie. I think you'll all agree, pretty strong argument there for a shake-up in the model of training and development, and a pretty compelling case from Team for Tech there. The theory is there for you now. We'd like to turn to our corporate representatives to hear what it's like in practice. So I'm first going to ask Kim from Adobe to discuss Adobe's people development strategy and the social programs that help them build an innovative workforce. Kim, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Alex. And thank you, Julie, for the great introduction. I am Kim with Adobe, as has been said, and I oversee our global programs that mobilize the time and talent of our employees in sustainability and social impact projects. And pro bono is actually my favorite topic to talk about, so thank you so much for having me here today. I'm going to talk a little bit about how service learning has been a truly effective medium for developing employees' competencies and advancing their careers. And just a little bit about Adobe to start. Sorry, let me my slides. So we're a software company. You probably know us from PDF, Photoshop, or the very conferencing platform that we're using right now. And you may not know, but our mission is actually to change the world through what we think of as digital experiences. We're all about experiences and customers at Adobe. We aim to give everyone from emerging young artists to Fortune 500 companies everything that they need to design and deliver exceptional experiences. We aim to empower people to create beautiful and powerful images, videos, websites, applications, and really transform how companies are interacting with their customers. And we can't do this without three key ingredients: our purpose, our products, and our people. We believe that great companies start with a great culture and that good ideas come from everywhere within the company. We want to inspire people to make a meaningful impact, and that is true not just for our core business strategy, but also for how we approach social impact and community engagement. So knowing that our best asset is our people, we've aimed to build a culture around enabling and empowering our people to deliver exceptional customer experiences. And that focus on customer aligns really well with immersive service learning. Because it is a human and customer-centered exercise, there's a lot of benefits that participants can gain in terms of really thinking from the lens of a customer. So these are Adobe's values and our leadership capabilities, which have been defined by our leadership. And the values create the basis for our culture, while the capabilities are aspirational. They're a set of skills that are crucial for succeeding in the rapidly evolving field of technology. And with this framework in mind, the social impact team has designed a set of programs that enable employees to learn and practice these capabilities while also meeting societal needs or challenges. And at Adobe, we call it the Pro Bono Initiative. And under this umbrella, we offer a few channels for deep and rich community service that also provides employees with valuable opportunities to build and stretch their skills. And it's run by our team, and then we run it in support with a number of helpful business units, including, of course, our HR team, which is integral to the framework. And we introduced the initiative in 2012, And it's grown significantly since then. We did 4 projects in 2012, and we're going to do 50 by the end of this year. And we offer a few options within the program to enable employees with varying skill sets and availability to participate. So from one-day large-scale design thinking exercises all the way to our partnership with Team for Tech and an immersive service learning project abroad. We are now planning our 7th project with Team for Tech, and we've supported projects in South Africa, Vietnam, Malawi, and Cambodia. We sponsor about 10 employees per year, and we open it to employees worldwide, and they must have a manager nomination if they're selected, and that's really the beginning of the journey that we take both the employee and their manager on as they go through this experience. And the results of the Pro Bono Initiative across all of these offerings are remarkable. Both community partners and employees are walking away from these experiences better equipped to do what they do. And I want to talk specifically about what we're hearing from our employees. Across the board, it is 90 to 100% positive feedback, very loudly positive feedback. Employees report that they are not only using skills, but that they're going to take those skills back to their job at Adobe. They would recommend the program to colleagues. We've had 100% of our participants say that. And that the experience has been more effective than other development trainings they may have taken. And this is all in response to questions that we ask on our survey, but we hear so much feedback outside of that, and I think the quotes really speak for themselves. More than one employee has actually told me that this has been the highlight of their career. And understandably, having this type of life-changing experience sponsored by your company also really goes quite far in terms of growing their affinity for Adobe and re-energizing their commitment to the company and the brand. So to show you what this looks like in action, I wanted to talk about a few personal employee experiences. What we found is that there are 3 of our leadership capabilities that are inherent to immersive service learning, and that's leading change, scaling the business, and demonstrating strong emotional intelligence, or what we call EQ. So in the words of our employees who have participated, so this is Lynn. He is the head of communications strategy in our San Francisco office, and he participated in a project with Kerry, Cambodia, to serve schools in an underdeveloped province there. And he put together a beautiful blog following his trip, and he summed up his experiences: no AC, no internet, no problem. The team really came in strong with an idea of what the project was going to look like, and quickly learned that they had to adapt on the first day. They were extremely hot because they were wearing way too many clothes for the climate. The internet had crashed on the first day because there were too many people trying to sign on at the same time, and their lesson plans were way too ambitious. So that's when the team, in Lynn's word, really learned what adaptation means. And we hear this from participants quite frequently, that this completely unfamiliar environment really necessitates the ability to embrace challenges, to pivot, and to do all of that as a team. And taking that back to the capability around leading change, that really depends on the willingness to take risks and be productive in the face of ambiguity. And employees like Lynn are returning from their experiences with practiced skills in change management. The second employee is Trisha. This is Trisha here. She's a business development manager in our San Jose office, and she participated in a project in South Africa. Previous to the trip, she had not met any of the other Adobe employees who were participating in the project, but over the course of the pre-project training and the in-country experience, they of course learned not only how to work together, but to really support each other in a very challenging and unique environment. And this type of collaboration translates directly to the work environment at Adobe. We're 20,000 people across many countries and many regions, many cultural barriers and considerations. So bringing that back to the office means so much in terms of being a productive collaborator and positive influence for the environment. And you know, there are some things that certainly cannot be taught in a classroom, and I think emotional intelligence is something that really is taught extremely well through immersive service learning, where these employees are finding themselves in totally unfamiliar environments. And we hear this from a lot of employees, that they're going to bring back that new understanding of empathy and respect, mutual respect, back to their teams. And then the final quote I wanted to share is from Sivaranjani, who is a software developer in Bangalore, and she participated in our return trip to South Africa. And she expressed what many of the project participants do, that they return from their experience with a completely new perspective and a renewed appreciation for technology, which is very important to us as a technology company. The project really encourages participants to look at opportunities from the user experience, from the customer, and to see technology used in a way that they might not have been introduced to in the past. And this reinforces the potential impact of their work, but also really helps them think more broadly about our products and our services and what they do today, but also what they can do tomorrow. And as we're always operating in a very rapidly evolving field, being able to have that innovative mindset is extremely important for Adobe and the future success of our business. So I'll close by sharing just one more quote from Sivaranjani, just to really sum up what I think all of our participants are walking away with, is that we are leaving with more than what we came with. And I love that quote from her because it's so simple and so authentic, but employees really are walking away from these projects, not just with new skills, but as changed individuals. And the fact that the company has sponsored their involvement in this really enforces the message that we invest in our employees, we believe in them, and that they're crucial to our long-term success. So we are extremely grateful for how successful this partnership and this program has been so far. And I think we're really just scratching the surface in terms of the impact that we can have on both Team for Tech's partners and also our employees. So thank you for listening. I'm always happy to talk about Pro Bono and these programs and our partnership with Team for Tech. And I will pass it back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Kim. A really compelling example there of immersive service learning and the results for employees from Adobe. So we appreciate you going through that. Before I go to Nicole, who has been waiting very patiently over there, I just want to remind everyone that you can pose any questions or comments in the chat pod in the bottom left, and we'll pick those up and run with them as we go through. Now, as I said, Nicole Johnson from Pure Good Foundation is here to talk about that foundation, which is, of course, the foundation of the Pure Storage company, and how they have utilized immersive service learning as a way to give back authentically and meaningfully to everyone. Nicole, you should have control of your slides, so I'll let you tick over and take it from there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex. And thank you, everyone, for being here today and for having us on. Really great to hear Kim's experience, and we would definitely echo a lot of what she is saying, if not all of what she is saying. I'll talk about the experience of partnering with Team for Tech from a little more of a small company perspective, because when we first started our partnership with Team for Tech just over 2 years ago, we were a company of about 1,500 people. We're now at about 2,600 people, so still relatively small, but also built with the core value of giving back and wanting that to be very authentic. So a little bit about, a little bit about the Pure Good Foundation. So we empower our employees and nonprofit partners to build a better world. The Pure Good Foundation was put in place when the company went public 3 years ago. Usually, when companies create a foundation, it is spearheaded by an executive. We were a little bit different. We were really spearheaded by employees who wanted to ensure that we had a strategy and a way to move forward that was going to give back to our communities. So the foundation was started through a vote by the employees, and that has made it a very employee-based effort. So as we consider what projects we're going to work on, we really do try and find opportunities for our employees to engage with the work that we're doing. So when I came on board, there was a desire to do some immersive service, and but no real idea of what that framework was going to look like. So I started researching different nonprofits that were going to allow us to do immersive service. And the one thing that that stood out for me the most about Team Protect was the leadership development component. So, like many, young, fast-moving, not tech companies, we were at a place where we wanted to do more leadership development and didn't really know how to work that in. So there was a gap there that we were really excited to be able to partner with Team Protect on, as well as the fact that we really appreciated the way that they partner with nonprofits on the ground for 3 to 5 years. We were very cautious about not wanting to go in, make a big splash, and then just leave and have technology sitting somewhere where it wasn't going to be utilized. And the thoughtfulness that they put into selecting the nonprofits on the ground, as well as the relationships that they build over that 3 to 5 years, allows us to feel very confident that the work that we're doing is actually impacting the work on the ground. So I will tell you more when after we see this quick video of our most recent project. Actually wrapped up 2 days ago in Vietnam. That was our 5th project with Team Protect. But this is from our last project, which is up in rural Alaska. So if we want to turn on that video, I think that will show you a little bit more than I could ever quite explain with words.
What really got me excited about the program was being able to bring in a large majority of our teachers. We have a really small technical team here at the school district. In all of our schools, you have to fly in or take a boat into them. There's no roads that lead to our schools. So being able to bring them into one centralized location and focus on a set of topics that'll really help our teachers and students is really an awesome experience for all of us.
Around 1/3 of the public schools in the United States are located in rural areas. Children living in a rural environment are twice as likely not to attend school. Approximately 1 in 4 children in the US will grow up not knowing how to read. When you look at all the data on illiteracy, incarceration, and mortality rates, you see there is a clear connection between lack of education and access to technology.
I would know. And he would.
We're becoming more connected every day. We cannot ignore global issues anymore. We have to face them together.
We've been up in Alaska for about a week, and we were able to spend time with the teachers and some of the district staff, training them on some new technology that they're going to be able to bring to the classroom and share with the kids.
And so the hope is that these teachers will be able to have more options for their kids to engage with the content and just have fun doing it.
I think it's more important now than ever before to go out in the world and try. Try to make a difference. Try to make an impact.
When you're living in such a small community, those people become your family, essentially, whether you're only there for a school year or you're there for 10 school years. You're with those people day in and day out, and so those students really do become almost like your children. And you want to provide them all the opportunities that you can provide them, and you know that when they leave those school doors, they're not walking into a metropolitan area where they're going to have exposure and access to all the things that students may have.
It's hard to put into words. I am inspired by the passion that everyone has displayed in working together, learning, sharing that just zest for going out into the community and helping these children find that love of learning, whether it be, in finding that one thing that might spark a special interest. It could be something as simple as creating a book. It could be as complicated as putting together a drone. But whatever it is, really looking at the individual student as well as a class and inspiring them to continue their education, to continue wanting to learn and explore new things. And all of these technology tools, I think, can spark that interest that may not be there with traditional ways of teaching.
It starts with everyone coming together. The teachers, the students, the families, the IT professionals. Everyone taking time out of their daily lives to learn and understand. Fostering that natural curiosity that kids have through technology and creativity. That change can happen. One person at a time, one classroom at a time.
Back to you, Nicole.
Great, thanks so much. So that was a great example, and I apologize for the sound. There was a little bit of a sound issue on that video, but it is up on our website if you would ever like to see it in full. But one of the things that the video reminds me of is the fact that our partnership with Team Protect has been really wonderful in that they have been very flexible in finding us partnerships and projects that were going to work with the skill sets that our employees were looking to develop, as well as where our interests were. So prior to the Alaska project, we had done a project in Vietnam and a project in South Africa. And actually, we continue to go back to those two partners every year. We feel like there is a real benefit to continuing that relationship between our company and those nonprofits on the ground. But I was pushed by our board to do something domestically. And Team Protect was really flexible in finding us something domestically that we could do, and that's what led us up to rural Alaska. So just wanted to note that as you're thinking about how and why, they have been able to really find us the right partnerships. So why immersive service learning? There's so much that we could be doing with our time. For us, there are 4 key factors. So the first is we know that employee engagement is a key factor in keeping great employees. We have seen the employee engagement for the participants that are on these projects increase exponentially. They come back and they are so proud to work at a company that has these values, that shares these values with them, that has, as Kim mentioned, supported them on what has been across the board a life-changing experience for every participant who has gone, that they come back reinvigorated to do their work and to participate in our culture and continue to grow the company. We also really wanted to be able to provide employees with authentic engagement experiences and to connect with others in different circumstances. I am personally a big believer that you don't know what kind of effects are going to happen until you start getting people in the same room. So when we get people from our UK office and our Vietnam office and our Mountain View office all together in South Africa with a nonprofit partner down there, the relationships that are built, the engagement opportunities that occur have really rippled out. So we really wanted to be able to provide that for our employees. We were very lucky in that our focus is on youth and education, which aligned so well with Team Protect's mission to advance the quality of education for children around the world. And as I mentioned before, like so many fast-paced, high-growth companies here in Silicon Valley, there was a gap in what we were able to deliver in terms of leadership development to our employees, and this was a way to fill the gap. So it was a really exciting partnership, and we've seen it continue to grow over the last 2.5 years. And the employees say it better than I ever could. For everyone that has gone, it has been a really incredible experience across the board. Some of the key things that we have seen employees walk away with outside of what we've already spoken about is around the relationships that they build with other employees that they never would have had the chance to connect with, and the way that those relationships can actually help us move the business forward when we're back on the ground. So sometimes, especially for a company that is global, where you are working, you don't always know what everybody is doing, and having 2 weeks with people who are in completely different roles from you, in completely different countries from you, really opens your eyes to what everybody else is doing, and sometimes can allow some incredible synergy to occur once you're back that actually allows us to move the business forward. We've also seen real growth from the folks that have gone on the projects and the way that they have been able to grow their own leadership. And that doesn't always mean moving into a managerial role, although we have seen that happen as well. But it also means that they'll take the lead on projects within their group. We see increased self-confidence. We see increased engagement. All of those pieces that really are what we're looking for to provide our employees with a robust experience. And, I say all of that, but I also want to talk about the fact that I think it was about a year ago, we were looking to have an executive actually go on one of these projects to get that buy-in and get that support at the executive level. And one of our VPs raised his hand to go, and he is one of our most traveled, most globally adept VPs. He's on a plane more than anyone I know. I think he had been to Vietnam, which is where we were going on this project, 14 times before he went on the project. And I was a little concerned when it was him that stepped up, because I thought, oh no, this is somebody who has traveled the globe several times over, who has had every experience imaginable. Is he going to be as impacted as all the other people who have been on this project? And it was incredible to see that he came back and actually said it was the most life-changing event of his life to date. And that has been, I say that so that you really get the scope of anybody can participate in these. Anybody is going to have a very impactful experience, and it doesn't matter what role they play in the company. And our results show that. So on a 5-point scale, we had 4.8, a 4.8 score on employees. This is of the 50 employees who have gone on projects over the last 2 years with us. So 4.8 out of 5 reported improving their leadership skills after the Team for Tech project. We had 4.75 reported participation in this program improved the likelihood that they would remain at our organization for at least 3 years, which is obviously a goal. And then 4.68 said the Team for Tech's program effectiveness was better compared to other training programs in developing their leadership skills. So we've had really strong feedback, and we see that in the fact that once we have an employee who has been on a project within a team, we see that team's increase in applications comes through. And so for managers as well who are evaluating whether this is a good use of their time and dollars, we have had no manager come back and say this was not a positive experience that they would recommend to another employee on their team to go or to other managers. So again, I can't say enough about it. Like Julie and Kim, I am always happy to speak with folks about this experience, about what has worked for us, and any challenges that you might be having. Love to talk about it because it is something we're really proud of. So thanks so much.
Great. Thank you very much, then, Nicole. I think important to reiterate the experience, the positive experience for employees, the growth and development that comes out of it, as well for senior leadership. That was really interesting to hear that story there. So we have a little time at the end now for some Q&A and a little discussion to keep the ball rolling. Please, again, to the audience, feel free to participate through that chat pod at the bottom left. But I'm going to kick us off and ask Julie, who are the main beneficiaries of immersive service learning programs?
Yeah. Well, the way we look at it, there are 3 categories of beneficiaries. So first, there are the teachers and students who benefit as the recipients of the pro bono services and the grants that are provided. And that's central to our mission of advancing the quality of education for underserved learners around the world. I think the second category are the participating employees. And as I spoke about the 5 types of skills that they are developing, as part of their career growth and progression. And then I think the third category are the companies overall. So people basically in Nicole and Kim's position and the executives, the research shows that employees who participate in these programs, and you heard it from Nicole and Kim, are more engaged, are more satisfied, are more likely to remain with the organization. And there are also benefits in terms of recruitment and retention. So I think there are benefits overall for the company as well. So I think those are sort of the 3 groups of beneficiaries that we seek to serve through our program.
Great. Yeah, thank you. It's interesting you touched on the direct beneficiaries there. I want to just pivot to Nicole very quickly to ask about any indirect beneficiaries of these companies of immersive service learning projects as well. So in Pure Storage's experience and involvement, do the benefits pertain to a wider group of people who haven't necessarily participated directly?
Absolutely, Alex. So I think that there are a few ways that we can gauge that. The first is that we always introduce these projects at each of our new hire trainings that occur every quarter. We show the video of our most recent project and talk about the work. And I have never left a new hire training without having several people come up to me and say, I am so happy and proud to work at a company that supports this type of work. And so we see that kind of pride, whether the people are on the projects or not. We see that kind of pride, and we see that when employees come back and talk to their teams and their coworkers about what they've done. Everybody kind of gets pumped. And then the other piece is so we've built relationships with these nonprofits through Team for Tech. One of the nonprofits, Orphan Impact, who is based in Vietnam, that we've had 2 projects on so far. We really wanted to support some of their additional needs, and so we did a fundraiser for them at our last sales kickoff last February. Worked with them beforehand to figure out what it was that they wanted and needed, and it turned out to be a innovation hub for the students who are aging out of the orphanage to continue building their technical skills, their English skills, to receive mentoring, etc., so that they had the opportunity to have a soft landing after leaving the orphanage and get some additional skills so that they could get really fulfilling jobs. Oftentimes, as they're leaving the orphanage, they have nowhere to go, and they end up in jobs that are not particularly fulfilling. And so we had the executive director of Orphan Impact come and speak to our sales kickoff, our members, and throughout the company. I mean, everyone was so inspired by what we could do. We were able to raise $120,000 to donate to Orphan Impact to build these 2 innovation hubs, is what they ended up doing for those orphans. And it's been amazing to see how every employee that gave, and even those that didn't, although I think we had an 80% give rate that night, were so invested in the success of Orphan Impact and the students, and felt so proud to be able to come together with their coworkers to make such a significant difference. So absolutely, we see this ripple effect throughout the company.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Kim, you've been very patient over there. I haven't forgotten you. I want to ask you a little bit about engaging employees in the programs and indeed their managers as well. We've heard so much positive outcomes from these, but going into them in the beginning, is it hard to get employees to participate in the first place? And perhaps more importantly, is it difficult to get managers to sign off and allow employees to participate? Because this is a big project that they're going to work on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So getting employees to participate is not difficult at all. In fact, we have no problem at all with the demand for this opportunity. We have limited spots, of course, but people really respond to the opportunity to have this hands-on practical experience while, of course, getting to travel and to get to network with other colleagues. So the sell is easy. We get about 100 employees applying for 5 spots. It is without a doubt our most popular offer. Managers actually are very supportive, and I think that comes down to 2 things. One is that at Adobe we put the whole framework of performance development is in the employee's hands. So your own kind of career progression and your professional development is your responsibility. So that actually enables this culture where employees are constantly coming to their managers to say, here's some thoughts that I have on areas for growth. Here's some ideas that I have for how I'm going to do that. And we've worked with the HR group to kind of build in some language around social impact. We prefer not to use words like volunteering and giving back. Sometimes those have connotations that don't immediately convey that this is a development opportunity and it is also a high impact opportunity. And through that, what we found is that managers really respond to the development component. So there's that piece, and then also it's also about your time off policy for volunteering. Many companies don't have one, and in fact, Adobe is one that does not have a volunteer time off policy. But that's because we also put that in the hand of the managers to be able to say at their discretion, if an employee is performing really well, they should be able to participate in projects like this. And whether that's 2 to 5 hours a week for some of our consulting engagements, or 2 weeks to participate in a Team for Tech project, that's something that the employee and the manager determine themselves. So overwhelmingly, we've just seen a lot of positive response and interest in the program.
Yeah, great. Let me flip that first question about employee participation on you a little bit. So you don't have any trouble getting employees to sign up or to show interest in this. What then, if you're getting 100 employees looking for trying to fill 5 positions, what are you looking for from an employee to engage them in one of these projects? Is it just high potentials, or is it something more?
Yeah, that's another great question. So we work with Team for Tech on the selection process, and we trust Team for Tech to be able to say exactly what skill set is needed for the project, and that is primary. So we want to make sure that we're putting together a team that is going to be able to deliver what is needed for the project effectively and be cross-functional in that regard too. From our perspective, we're looking for employees that demonstrate 3 things. One is a prior interest in social impact opportunities. So whether that's volunteering, serving on a board at a nonprofit, participating in an Adobe sponsored activity, we want to see that employees have already kind of demonstrated this passion. And then we also look for employees that can articulate their professional development goals. So an employee who says, I want to do this because I've always wanted to go to Cambodia is obviously not a very compelling application, as opposed to someone who says, would really benefit from an opportunity to practice my project management skills. And then the third is, what are they going to do with that coming back to the Adobe role, and making sure that it's something that really does fit within their development plan, but that also makes sense within the work that they do at Adobe.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. Julie, we've just got a couple of minutes left, but I think we've got time to squeeze a question in for you. So Kim mentioned there about working with you to align the employees with the projects at nonprofits, but how much work does it take for you to find the nonprofits and to get them on board in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, we have a team of 10, and to bring on a new nonprofit partner, we probably spend, I would say, 3 to 4 months selecting and doing the due diligence. We sort of take them through a process of an initial expression of interest just to make sure that they fit our basic criteria. And then, a more extended program application. And then after that, if we make the decision to move forward, we work together with them on filling out what we call a program development plan, which is basically what are the goals over the life of the 3 to 5 year collaboration, and how are they going to measure success on an annual basis. They have to report back to us every 6 and 12 months, basically of progress against those indicators. And so, yeah, we use the program development plan to really scope out the annual engagements to make sure that we're building towards meaningful impact over the 3 to 5 years. So it's a big investment from the nonprofits.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Time flies when you're having fun. We're just about there. So I'm just going to summarize briefly what we heard today. First of all, the current approaches to talent development aren't really working. Experiential learning delivers better results for leadership development and inspires employees, and that's what we see in these immersive service learning projects. They also help to develop, specifically with regards to Team for Tech, Adobe, and Pure Storage, the tech capabilities to meet the needs of a modern workforce at a digital company like Adobe or Pure Storage. And employees see the benefits of immersive service learning. They highlight in their feedback the leadership skills that they've learned. Companies see the retention results from employees that participate in these programs, and certainly the effectiveness of Team for Tech's programs versus other providers as well. So that is all our time for today. I want to thank, in particular, Julie Kluget, Kerry, Tyman, and Nicole Johnson for joining me on the panel. I want to thank you all for joining in and listening to today's webcast. I hope you found it very informative. A reminder there that there'll be a evaluation at the end, so please take a second to complete that for us and give us your feedback. The webcast will be available on demand within about 48 hours, so you can feel free to share that with your colleagues if you think there's someone who would learn from watching it as well. Otherwise, I want to thank you all again. This has been a webcast from the conference board, and we hope to see you again soon.